Okay, everybody, welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, a special Saturday edition. And the reason we're doing it on a Saturday is because there's back-to-back games for the Avalanche, and we didn't want to go missing too many days in a row with no show to talk about some games. And after one period of this, I almost canceled it. I almost said, you know what? Let's just wait till Monday. Good thing that didn't happen. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan, and a special Saturday edition of the show. When the Avs are playing back-to-back games, one on Friday on a Friday and a Saturday, we didn't want to go missing both those games. We don't have to combine everything on a Monday show, talk about both those games. So here we are, special Saturday. Great game to talk about, mainly because the Avs won it, obviously, in kind of dramatic fashion. So we will discuss all of that and then some. But first things first, thank you for making this your first listen of the day, especially over the weekend. That's always appreciated. Follow the show on social media outlets, LOPN_Avalanche on Twitter, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram. Questions, comments, concerns, opinions, lockedonavalanche@gmail.com, and follow the show on our YouTube channel over on YouTube. Hit subscribe and get notified when a new show goes live. So yeah, Kyle, I don't want to say things look bad in terms of what like the stats were showing and kind of like the deep metrics and things like that. They were favoring the Avs, but that's hockey. You know, you're down 3-0 after one. I swear to you, I didn't get the feeling that this game was over. I'm not saying the Avs, I felt like the Avs were going to win it, but I thought they could definitely come back in this game after just one period of looking at kind of like the deep stats. And look what they did. They rattled off six straight, and win it 6-3. Thoughts on the game?
It's funny. This is the second time this season that the team theirself has referenced like turning on a switch and getting that intensity back, and that's exactly what that first period intermission felt like. Like they went into that locker room, flipped a switch, and came out and played Avalanche hockey for a change. That first period felt reminiscent to the Boston game, and then periods 2 and 3 is the Avalanche hockey that we've come to know and love.
Well, I don't want to go down the road of saying it felt like reminiscent of the Boston game because they were playing better than they played in the Boston game. The outcome of the first period was reminiscent of it. Like you were getting beat, but on the ice, I thought the Avalanche looked fine. You had the mishap with a shorthanded goal. You never want that to happen. Devon Toews was kind of in, I don't want to say no man's land, but he had to make a decision. Do I go after the puck or do I go play defense? He made the decision to go after the puck. And that gave who scored that shorthanded goal? It
Lowry?
was Lowry. It was Lowry. They gave him the step, and that's all he needed to beat Jost, who's now backpedaling. And you gave up, a shorthanded goal. But other than that, you had good looks. You had really good looks. You think they outshot you by 12-11. So it wasn't like you were getting just completely outshot like you were in Boston. I think Boston had 20 something shots on goal after the first. I was comfortable with it. I was, believe it or not, with a 3-0, you're down 3-0. I'm like, they're playing well. They'll be okay.
It was the aggressive forecheck and the defense almost kind of sleeping at times in that first period. That's what I was drawing the parallel to with the Boston game was Winnipeg with an aggressive forecheck and a shorthanded goal, and the goals that were going in past Frankie. You're like, okay, this is just going to be one of those games. You had that feel in that first period, and it completely changed in that second period, and you never felt a shred of doubt ever again.
Yeah, well, and that's not to say that things weren't all just sunshine and roses for the Avalanche when they started to kick it on, because I think it was the second goal. Yeah, Darren Helm just seemed like lost. He was just kind of he was in no man's land. He was just camping out in between the dots and not really looking around for anybody to defend, and it hurt them.
Yeah.
So this was a game where, again, you're getting good production out of the top six, and the bottom six is a little bit suspect. You did have a couple shifts here and there where the bottom six looked pretty decent, but it wasn't consistent. And we'll go over the stats later, but this was all, the top lines taking over. And once again, you had Andre Burakovsky in the top unit, and you demote Gabe Landeskog to go play with Nazem Kadri and Val Nichushkin. What a demote! And I used demote. He didn't get demoted because he's not playing well.
I was about to say, I would love to play on that line.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it was, again, just to try to jumpstart Burakovsky. And I think for at least how I said in the last game that he looked better. It didn't show up for points. It did last night. He finally got a goal, and I stand corrected when I said I just didn't have confidence that his goal, when he eventually got one, was going to be a Burakovsky-like goal, and it absolutely was. That is what he can do.
Yeah.
He has a deceptive shot, and he just fired one past Hellebuck. That was pretty.
And you got not just the Berkey snipe. After that, you could see the weight literally off of his shoulders and the confidence he had through the rest of the game. He was weaving in and out, and he was making plays. And I was like, okay, this is the Andre Burakovsky that I know. Thank you.
Yeah, he was. I mean, you could tell he had some confidence even before he scored the goal. But after he did, it just went up another level, and he was flying around wanting to get another one. And then you had Nathan MacKinnon get two incredible goals by him, and did everything in his power to get a hat trick. And the Avs had a 4-on-3 and then a 5-on-3 towards the end. He was out there for a lot of it. He hit the post. I think when it was a 4-on-3, he hit the post. He wanted a hat trick so bad to match the captain's hat trick for Gabe Landeskog. And he just continues to have a season that nobody outside of Colorado wants to talk about.
And see, I think we're having a problem now with the Avalanche. Who do we talk about? Like, you have a miraculous season with Kale. You're having Gabe having one of the best seasons he's ever put out in the NHL. Nathan MacKinnon, even while injured and COVID breaks, putting up stellar numbers. Mikko putting up great numbers. Nas putting up great numbers. And then you get to talk about the goalies. Like, who does the mainstream media get to talk about when it comes to the Avalanche? Because you can't just pick one storyline. There are so many going right now.
What would you do with this line? I mean, they did it a few times. He's done it from time to time where you drop somebody down. This is to try to jumpstart Burakovsky. I mean, you're turning around and you're playing again tonight against Vegas. Do you keep Burakovsky there, or do you? Because that second line with Landeskog there makes them really dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God! Like, I'm fine if Burakovsky can kind of turn things around. That's still a solid top line. You have MacKinnon and Rantanen in there, obviously, and then Burakovsky, who can do some damage if he's on, and then a very tough second line. Think about it. Say it out loud. Say it. What's that movie? Yes Man. Say it 100 times. Say it 100 more times. You have, Gabe Landeskog, Nazem Kadri, and Val Nichushkin. That's a beat 'em up line, man. Wow. I would like that.
I say you just keep those lines exactly intact for this Vegas game, because we were talking about we're shifting back to one line only and everybody else just kind of occupying time. With Gabe on that second line, it's just another wave that you have to endure. And the third and fourth line, yes, they're trying a little bit more. That fourth line's a little suspect. By a little, I mean a lot. But that it's another wave. And I like how big that line is with Nas, Nuke, and Gabe. So I say, especially against Vegas, because that line is just a match made in heaven for Vegas matchups. Roll it in. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. I would not be against it. Maybe that can just keep it. You don't want to get his momentum going and kind of his confidence up, and then just throw him right back down to the
Yeah.
second line. So it wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me if he's on that first line again against Vegas. All right, let's keep talking about this game. Lots to still talk about, but first we're going to talk about Bet Online. Or not? No, we're going to wait on Bet Online. We're going to talk about Built Bar first. Let's talk about Built Bar. So, yeah, we are deep into February, and New Year's resolutions are all but over. But that doesn't mean you cannot continue to eat healthy from time to time if you want to. And if you are still doing that, include Built Bar in that meal plan. And if you haven't tried the new Built Bar Puffs, which I do believe Mr. Shaggy Von Doom has ordered.
Yes, I have. I've bought the mixed box of the puffs.
All right, they're on the way. So maybe we'll do a live taste testing for our next
There you
ad
go.
read whenever you add them. That'd be great. So they're the first ever protein infused marshmallow protein bar. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy. It's not just a protein bar. They're a treat covered in 100% chocolate with some incredible flavors. They have cinnamony churro, coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie. Probably going to be one of your favorites. I want to know which one you like. What do you think you're going to like most? Let's do a
churros. Speaking my love language.
All right. So most Built Bars contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 grams of net carbs, and 17 grams of protein, compared to a normal candy bar, which has about 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. So go to built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off of your order. Once again, the promo code is LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. All right. So where to go from here, man? Like I said, I just wanted to throw out some not individual stats as far as like, like I said, I like looking at like Corsi scores and Fenwick scores and stuff. And I did put up on Twitter after the second just what Devon Toews and Cale Makar were doing for the Corsi for and the Corsi against. And it was just the ratio was just night and day. And it just shows you that they are generating offense or part of generating offense while shutting down, playing shutdown D. And that is really across the board for the Avs. And that was happening after one period and after two periods when they finally tied it up. That's what I'm saying, where you can look at stats like that. And you can look at stats like expected goals for Winnipeg was not high. That means like the goals that they scored, they really shouldn't have gotten, is more or less what they're saying. It doesn't, you can't take them off the board, obviously.
Yeah.
But you just, I liked how things were going. I liked Landeskog on that second line. And then when he got that goal, which he led the scoring charge for the Avs, I thought that was a power play goal. Apparently it happened like 1 second after the power play. And alas, the Avalanche went 0 for 4 on the power play yet again. But that, I don't know how that goal went in.
Yeah.
It went between Hellebuck's legs. I don't know how he David Copperfield that thing into the net, but that's what you needed. You just needed that goal to get going, and then it was all Avs after that. It was a fun game to watch after the first.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Corsi stats and the defense being locked down. That's something you can really see, especially with this run that the Avalanche are putting together. Earlier in the season, when we actually had losing streak, you could point out just like dumb positioning, dumb plays. The Avalanche across the board, even McDermott, they're playing smart hockey. Like they're not putting themselves in binds. If that like makes any sense, they're not overplaying. You don't see EJ. There were a couple games earlier in the season where EJ was down in the slot or like taking the puck around the back of the net and compromising the blue line. And you don't see that anymore. Everybody knows their role and they know how to work with everybody. And you could see the production coming in and like the defense not overcommitting to an offensive play and shifting the alignment of the forwards. There's a lot of very good shutdown defense and production.
Remember when overpassing was an issue for the Avalanche?
Yeah.
Like not that long ago. Like they tried, it was, maybe it started about 2 years ago the first time that they were the favorite going into a season. And I think maybe they thought like that was the first time all this weight was on their shoulders, and they tried to be cute all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it took a little while for them to just be like, let's just score some damn goals here and
Yeah.
stop trying to make every single one of them like a highlight reel goal. You I didn't think about that till you were just talking about
Yeah.
how everybody's kind of like on the same page, and it made me think like, wow, remember that time? Remember when it's not that they weren't on the same page. It was just they were making the extra too many passes. And you're right, man. Like these guys know each other and they
Yeah.
just go for it. What they have on net? 42 shots on net. Like that's not playing around with the puck. That's just
No.
shooting it and seeing
Yeah.
what happens.
And I think the last remnant of that overpassing cutesy stuff is the drop back pass. I think that's the only remnant of that style of play that they tried to attack that season with. And it's still it's phasing its way out. We don't commit to it all the time, but I think that's the last little shred of it. And I think honestly, this team, it's not so much pass around to get everybody hot and to keep everybody happy. You know where everyone is even without looking. And you see a lot of those no look passes. And just like, how did they know he was sitting there? This team is a unit.
Yeah. No, they know. Like they're not going to make dumb no look passes, although that does happen every once in a while. Andre Burakovsky, but you know they just know know where they're going to be, and they trust that they're going to be there. Let's take a look at some of the stats for them. You know, individually, again, it's very top heavy. Did you look to see how many shots on goal Nathan MacKinnon had?
I did not.
Take a guess.
Nathan MacKinnon probably had, of our 40, he probably had 13.
Very close. He had 14 shots on goal.
Hey,
that is, I mean,
let's see. Yeah.
Double digits shots on goal for him is nothing, but 14 is a heck of a lot. A lot of those came right towards the end.
The only member of the Avalanche in double digits.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yep. You have Landeskog with 7. And then nobody else over 3.
No.
Unreal. So that top line, you had MacKinnon with 2 goals. You had Mikko Rantanen. I mean, he always plays a good game, but very quietly had 3 assists on the night.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he was just there. He didn't. How many shots on net did he have? He had 3. So he wasn't getting a ton of shots on it, but like always, he's active. And then you had Andre Burakovsky with 1 goal and 1 assist. So that's 4 assists and 3 goals for your top line, and a plus minus of 10. +4 for MacKinnon, +4 for Rantanen, +2 for Burakovsky.
Those are good numbers.
Yeah, I like those. And then on the second line, you had obviously Landeskog with the hat trick, Nichushkin with 2 assists, and Kadri with 2 assists. So then you have 3 goals and 4 assists on the second line, and the plus minus there is 3, 4, 5 plus 6 for them. Like that is domination from your top 6, and I'm sorry that is tough to contain for a full 60 minutes. And yeah, when a team is up 3-0, I don't think Winnipeg felt comfortable.
No,
at all.
And you could see it. You could see in their reaction when Gabe got that goal that they were in panic mode to just get back on top, and they knew there was nothing they were going to do because the Avalanche were in that first shift mentality that we had against Detroit all second period.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, and we definitely have to mention Pavel Francouz.
Yes,
really shutting it down. You give up 3 goals, and he wasn't coming out. If he was going to give up 8 goals, he was going to give up 8 goals because the Avs turn around and play tonight. So unless he was going to, when did they get 3? Let me see here because I want to see if they were to pull him.
That would have been first period.
Well, but the third goal came. There was like 4 minutes left. So I'm saying, like,
Mm-hmm.
if he gave up 3 goals in the first like 10 minutes, all right, pull him, and then he's going to be your goalie for tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that third goal came. There was about 4 minutes, so he's almost got a full period in. I guess you technically still could, but no, not when you're going up against Vegas. I wouldn't do that.
No.
So, but credit him for he let the offense find its game, come back, and he didn't let Winnipeg, because you see that all the time. It takes a lot of effort to come back from that many goals down, and then to tie it. You always see the other team, like, then they ramp it up because they just gave up a 3-goal lead. That's not making them happy, and then they get another one. Did not happen, and they really shut it down. I didn't see him making any like sprawling saves, so I give a lot of credit to the defense as well. But you have to give the credit to Frankie too for keeping it at 3 and giving his team the opportunity to come back.
And you could see it in his body language that he wasn't flustered. He knew what he did in those situations, and he cleaned it up real quick.
Yeah.
And you could really see in that third one where that would be a typical Marc-Andre Fleury, like slam a stick, throw something. Bennington, like shoot a puck at somebody's head. Frankie, cool, calm, collected. He understood, just shook his head, got back in position, cleaned it up the rest of the game.
Loved it. All right. Let's hear from BetOnline, and then we will get to our sound check of the day to summarize how we feel the action went in song form. But first, betonline.ag. And obviously, the football season is all over and done with, but there's still plenty of basketball and plenty of hockey to go, which you can bet on over at betonline.net. From all the latest odds, totals, player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land, betonline.net is the number one spot for all of your sports betting needs. It remains the best spot for your sports scores, podcasts, and news for this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your source for the NHL, obviously, boxing, and UFC. So head over to the website today. Use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and all of the action. It's where the game starts. It's betonline.net. Before we get to our sound check, we have to personally just throw our love out there for, I don't want to say congratulations. I don't know. It's funny, like, congratulating him. But Mr. Peter McNabb's announced that his cancer is in remission. So, I mean, Avalanche fans absolutely love this guy. You mentioned him a couple weeks ago when we were kind of talking about we were doing when they were on their bye week. You kind of mentioned, like, let's appreciate what we have in Mr. Peter McNabb, and to hear that, and he broke down during they didn't have the camera on him. Good thing, because I think we all might have been we probably all were breaking down anyway when he was thanking everybody. But man, that is absolutely the game, whatever. Hearing that just absolutely put a smile on your face.
Yeah, I remember when that was dropped just shortly before puck drop, that information came out. It made your soul glow. Like, it was amazing. And, like, if anybody, Peter McNabb is the one to topple that. He is the salt of the earth. He is a great guy and a treasure. And this is incredible news. Love you, Pete. If you're listening, love you, man.
Yep.
And looking forward to many more games and maybe hoisting a cup when it's all said and done.
That would be poetic. So yeah, keep fighting the fight. All right, let's get to our sound check of the day. And if you new to the show, we like to take songs that we kind of feel summarize the action from the most recent game. So what do you got that summarizes the Avalanche and the Winnipeg Jets?
Well, as we're all getting ready for our game against Vegas tonight, and hey, everybody jump on Twitter tomorrow. It's Chris's birthday. Tell him happy birthday, please.
Yeah, it is.
Also, tonight's game, listen to Be the Best from one of the greatest bands of all time, Tenacious D.
Yeah.
I own the Pick of Destiny. They're one of my favorite bands, but listen to that song. That song will get you fired up. And that was literally probably what they were thinking in their head during that entire second and third period.
Be the best.
To be the best.
Oh, I love it.
Dave Grohl's in the music video, so
is he in though? I mean, he is like best friends with them, so he's in a couple of their videos. I mean, well, he's in Pick a Destiny, obviously, but
Dave Grohl and Josh Groban are teaching them how to be the best.
That's a combination. Dave Grohl.
Val Kilmer takes a bullet for Jack Black. It's a great music video.
Really? I have to watch that now. All right. I mean, why would you expect anything less from Tenacious D?
Exactly.
From videos. So that's a great one. For me, I am going to go with there was a couple I was going between, but I have to go with maybe like my all-time favorite band, which is the Chris Cornell led Audio Slave. And the name of the song is Exploder. And basically the Avs just exploded with 6 goals and 6 unanswered goals. Landeskog with his hat trick. It was just it was like an explosion. So that's my Audio Slave is like my jam, dude. Like that.
Love me some Audio Slave.
Oh my god, that first album when that came out, I listened to that. I cannot tell. I probably wore out the CD and had to buy it again because that first self-titled album, there's nothing like it, and that's celebrating 20 years this year. In November, that will be 20 years the album has been out, and it still is like the best thing that I've heard. So,
man, that's such a good album.
Oh my god, it's awesome. So so you're going Tenacious D. I'm going Audio Slave Exploder. And now we're going to turn around and do another one for Monday's show because the Avs are back up again against Vegas. And we said this when the schedule came out that the Avs were playing Vegas twice on the second leg of the back-to-back. What are you going to do? You got to play when the games are scheduled. What are we expecting right now? And we said, are we going to get a different Eichel? Because the first time, obviously last week, it was his first game. He didn't look good. I know he's got some points. I think he scored at least 1 goal. I don't know if he's scored another one yet, but what are we expecting?
Definitely a different.
And they lost last night too. As we're recording this, I'm saying last night, but do you know who they lost to?
Arizona.
The
Heartbreak Kids of Arizona.
They lost 3-1 to Arizona, and he did not have a point. So, Vegas is playing a back-to-back too, obviously.
Yeah,
but they're coming off a loss now to Arizona. They are not going to be too happy about that.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that change things? Does that change? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is going to be a mad team. This is going to be, and it's a different Eichel who's more comfortable. And we're also on a back-to-back. And this is, you got to keep in mind, we just spent a whole episode talking about how great this win was. This team is feeling how great this win was in the locker room. And anybody who's been around the game of sports and seen it, and whatever your favorite team is, you get an emotional high. There is a low that comes right after it, especially on a back-to-back. So you have to be very cautious going into Vegas off an emotional high like this, playing against a very angry team in Vegas.
Vegas is they're struggling a little bit. Let me see what they are in their last 10.
So what happens when you don't have a goalie?
Yeah. Right now they're 4 points behind Calgary, and Calgary has a game in hand. Vegas is 5-4-2. No, there'd be 5-4-1 in their.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't math.
Yeah, 5-4-1. 5-4-1.
5-4-1 in their last 10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think they're not. And I had this conversation with Adam. They're not the team that they've been the past couple of years. They're still a good team, and the Avalanche are going to be in for a fight. But they don't strike fear in you like they have the past few years. So, and maybe they will by the end of the year when Eichel gets his feet wet and he's, feels a little bit better. And then when you get Stone back for the playoffs, you're going to be a tough out. I'm not saying that, but right now, here and now on February 26th, they are a very beatable team. So the Avalanche kind of need to take advantage of that. But you're still going into a hostile environment because I believe this one is on the road, right?
It
Yeah, it
is.
is. Yeah. So
Saturday night in Vegas. It's going to be rocking.
Yeah. So all right. We will be talking about that on Monday. And Avalanche with a win, 80 points on the season, man. First team to get to 80. Yeah, they're still cruising. So we'll see what happens. Does Burakovsky play on the first line? How does Kemper do? Does he kind of get another solid game under his belt? Lots to talk about, and we'll do all that on Monday. So for now, thank you for tuning in, making it your first listen of the day. And we will be back on Monday. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli, and this is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys on Monday.